former Minister Jeff Radebe has testified at the inquest of former ANC President Albert Luthuli. Radebe recounted the pivotal moments of Chief Luthuli's term with a look at what Oliver Tambo and Nelson Mandela also achieved during this time. Radebe's testimony is a detailed history lesson and a timeline that lends to a deeper understanding of how instrumental Luthuli was to the ANC and uMkhonto weSizwe, along with why he would be targeted and ultimately murdered as the state alleges. Now, SABC News senior reporter Ayanda Mhlongo is following the inquest and joins us now from Pietermaritzburg with an update. Ayanda, very good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. So it was a very pivotal moment, not only for, this inquest, but also for the former Minister Jeff Radebe, given that the ANC has always said that Jeff Radebe has been a steadfast advocate in the relentless pursuit of justice for Chief Luthuli. Just give us a sense then in terms of his testimony and also what we're likely to expect.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our viewers. Well, certainly, that's exactly the point, Onati, the importance of this day for the African National Congress. You know, in last week, ahead of Jeff Radebe's testimony here in this inquest, he did speak to us and spoke about how important it is for the ANC, firstly, as the family wants closure, but also for the ANC, but also, Onati, for the record to be finally set straight. Because from the onset, the ANC has never believed the initial version that Chief Albert Luthuli died in that accident. And this is what Jeff Radebe has maintained. And he has said that this is of particular importance for himself to be able here to stand on behalf of the ANC and to speak about this loved and revered leader of the ANC. And also, I think, very importantly, Onati, was for the ANC to sort of paint a picture for the court on the political climate at the time that Chief Albert Luthuli led the ANC. And Jeff Radebe, initially in his affidavit that was read out in court, giving a very detailed sort of events of that time, from the time that Chief Albert Luthuli moved to South Africa, and then, of course, his journey as a member of the ANC, then becoming the president of the ANC when he was elected in 1952. And, of course, then thereafter, giving details of very significant events that took place during that time, which was an exceptionally trying time for the ANC, as we know, well-documented history during that time, in particularly under the leadership of Chief Albert Luthuli, and telling, sort of basically detailing to the court, as I said, those are significant events from the Defiance campaign that was led by Chief Luthuli, to the adoption of the Freedom Charter, the establishment of the uMkhonto weSizwe, which was the military wing of the ANC, and sort of Mr. Radebe then giving sort of that very significant and historical context for this court, and also for the court united to understand why, and as he has stressed, why they feel as the ANC that Chief Luthuli was in fact murdered. And he's basically said that it was because of his influence and popularity that they believe led to, and I quote, the cold-blooded murder of Chief Albert Luthuli. As you know, Onati, why this is particularly important is because the ANC, the family of Luthuli, as well as the National Prosecuting Authority, intend through this inquest to have this court overturn the findings of that initial inquest of 1967, which had found that Chief Luthuli died accidentally after being hit by a goods train in Groudville in 1967. And I must say, Onachi, just speaking to the Luthuli family, members of the Luthuli family who have been here every single day since this inquest was reopened, they too have said that they're very pleased and happy with the manner in which Mr. Radebe has been able to account the history to this court, and they believe that his testimony is quite crucial and will hopefully lead to the court eventually deciding to overturn that finding of that initial inquest in 1967. So far, very positive comments coming from the family as well as the African National Congress, who today as well, and Nathi, I must say, many of the leaders of the ANC here in the province of KwaZulu and some of the national leaders of the party are present in court. And while, of course, the focus has been inside the court, I must also mention that outside of the court, there is a large number of ANC supporters that have gathered here today in support of Mr. Radebe as well as the Luthuli family. Unathi?
And I think, Ayanda, it's also important just to remind our viewers, of course, that these two inquests were reopened into the deaths of, as we are discussing now, Chief Luthuli and, of course, the human rights activist and lawyer Griffiths Mhlongo. They began in the Pietermaritzburg High Court, where you are last week. And, of course, these were opened and announced 2 weeks ago by the Director of Public Prosecutions in KwaZulu-Natal, Advocate Elaine Harrison. But quickly, Ayanda, before I let you go, the inquest into this matter has also already heard, you've touched on the family of the Luthuli family, of course, but also testimony was heard from the investigating officers investigating this particular case. Just perhaps as we wrap up our conversation, what happens now? How long then? What are we likely to see in terms of those that will be called today or perhaps even for the rest of the week?
Well, we know, Unathi, that the NPA is expected to call, I think, roughly over 20 witnesses. Mr. Radebe is the sixth witness to have testified in this inquest, and as I speak to you now, the court is still in session, and we've already had two family members that have come to testify, one being the daughter-in-law of Chief Albert Luthuli, Mam Wilhelmina Mary Luthuli, as well as the grandson Mthunzi Luthuli, who will conclude his testimony later on this week. We are also expecting that the NPA is going to be calling several other experts to come and testify in this inquest. One notably will be a steam train controller, custodian of a steam train, which is a train that the investigators were able to locate, which was similar to the one that was involved in the accident that ultimately claimed Chief Albert Luthuli's life. So still a lot more and interesting witnesses that we are expecting Unathi to come and testify in this inquest. Unathi?
Ayanda, thank you so much for that. Of course, Ayanda Mhlongo is our senior reporter here at the SABC outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. They're just giving us a sense of what transpired in that inquest today.